you visit, so then here's the visit. So here's day one. Then you visited the site. And you observed. And from this observation grows some hunches. Right? My hunch is that the boundary conditions on the site are important for me to look at. So then you go, next node, we document.
Investigate.
What's that?
Investigate.
Investigate.
Documents kind of vague. We made a model of the experience of our investigators.
I'm less concerned about the specifics of what we did and more just about sort of the big picture. So we investigate, we document. These were the inputs, right? And the thing that's really important to note that when you get better at this, when you've done this more, it really starts to be like this. And we set out, we asked you, explicitly, like at medium, we want 3 different hunches about medium, right? So there's a sort of multiplicity that should be happening. Now, at this point, we start to get some terms. Right? So we're now blowing these things up, these hunches up, into their related terms, right? So if we're talking about boundary, what are the terms that associate with boundary? And in a way, I guess maybe this shouldn't happen here. This is investigate. Then what we're doing is we are documenting how these terms relate to site, relate to program, etc. Right? So now this is the input. And what we expect is that this is going to produce some conclusions. The output. Actually, maybe a better way to drop. In parallel to this, right? So there's this other line of general documentation that's happening related to site, related to program, that sort of gets done, but parallels, right? This is kind of moving along, and this is moving along. This is your specific stuff you're interested in, and we get to here. So this is, with the exception of some of this breaking out part, right? Like I add these little bits in a way that the other studios did. Right? The other studios did this. The other studios did this. but they didn't frame it in this kind of conceptual way. To me, and the reason why I draw it in this way, some of these, this is the concept, and other times it requires these other related words to really conceptually understand the conclusion of this hunch, right? So in some case they're more multiplicitous, in some case they're singular. This should really be like so now the other studios jump over this to here. Strategy. That's the goal for the review on Monday, is to produce strategic operations that are a result of the analysis of hunches. Right? Everybody with me? Agree to that? Mm-hmm. So what I did is I introduced this space in between. I said, I know what's going to happen when we jump from here to here, and these become foam core models, or in the worst case possible, massing models created out of construction paper, right? Because you saw those, right? They float around the room. Like, that's asinine. I knew that was going to happen when we didn't do this part in between. So what I did is I inserted this other exercise that said, okay, now take these things, these terms that are related to what you concluded on in your hunch, and now put them through this machine. This machine is an abstract machine, or maybe it's an abstraction machine, right? Which allows us to abstract the fundamental properties of what's happening in this space outside of architecture. Because you can't understand a difficult concept in architecture unless you understand it outside of architecture, right? How can you effectively deploy architectural boundaries if you don't really know what constitutes or what the issues or conditions of a boundary are, right? So my suggestion is pick a material that's related to this and investigate without worrying about program, without worrying about site. Develop a vocabulary, develop a way of working, a way of thinking that's related to the idea. And use that then to produce these strategies. That, in a way, this just becomes, and when they end, they are strategic organizations and conceptual models.